everyone. Welcome to This Day. It is Thursday, April 21st. Now we have a couple of meetings to tell you about today. We have at 9:30 this morning is the GRF Agenda Prep meeting. That will be in the Willow Room. And then also at 9:30 this morning is going to be the United Architectural Controls and Standards meeting, and that'll be in the boardroom. Now on our show today, we have two very special guests. We have Jenny and Bernie Frogle, who are here to talk about a show that is going to air in May called No Man Left Behind. And they are going to tell us their story as to how this video came about. And then we talked to Chief Brian Fennessy, who is with the Orange County Fire Authority, and he's going to touch on some very important things going forward for the rest of the year. All right, let's take a look at our weather. We are looking at sunshiny skies for the rest of the week, as well as getting warmer into the weekend. Today we are looking at 66.52, tomorrow 66.55, Saturday 64.50, but then on Sunday 74.55, and Monday 85.63. Then our sunrise this morning was at 6:14, and our sunset will be at 7:29. And thank you, Joel Goldstein, for sending in this great photo of the Ferris wheel that is at the Spectrum. So thanks for sending it in. Beautiful day. And if you have a photo that you would like to share with our community, please email it to lagunawoodsvillagetv@gmail.com. All right, when we come back, we will have the Frogles, so stick around.
Number one reported accident for a senior is a fall.
Hi there, I'm Bob Eubanks. If you've taken a bad fall or your balance isn't what it used to be, it's time to try 60 Up. It's safe, it's effective balance training that can get you back on your feet in as little as 3 weeks, like it did me.
If you have balance, strength, or mobility issues, you need 60 Up.
Within a couple weeks, my balance has improved.
If you're feeling scared, you need 60 Up.
It works.
Go to 60up.com. That's the number 60up.com.
It changed my life, and it can change yours too.
Your dentures need to be replaced, or are they worn out or broken? Dr. Damon Anderson from Laguna Niguel Family Dental Care is here to help with your denture needs. We do in-office denture repairs, same-day denture relines, and provide metal and non-metal partial dentures. Laguna Niguel Family Dental Care also provides implant-supported overdentures, completely replaced by Dr. Anderson himself. New appliances are an opportunity to get 1 to 2 shades lighter for a more youthful look. Give us a call today or visit our website for a video consult at lagunaniguelsedationdentist.com.
Hi there, I'm Bob Eubanks. Remember me? I'm the king of whoopee. And you're watching Village Television. But everybody does.
Welcome back. As I mentioned, we have Jenny and Bernie Frogle here. Well, welcome both of you to the show. How are you today?
Great. Thank you, Lisa.
Very nice to meet you. And it's a great story as to why you are here. And it is a show called No Man Left Behind that's going to air next month. Now, of course, we have you here because we want to talk about sort of how this came about. And it's pretty much a story about something near and dear to your heart.
Well, you know, I grew up in New Zealand. My father and mother met in 1943, and he was an American Marine, and of course she lived in New Zealand. She played the piano at the Jewish Community Center in Wellington.
Okay.
And they met, and he was shipped back to the Philippines, to the island of Betio, November of 1943, and they were killed landing. And I was born in March, so I never knew my father. And over the years, you know, I heard this story, but never really paid attention to anything. And in December of 2019, or 18 it may have been, before COVID. I got a phone call from a Marine. Actually, Bernie answered the phone, and when he said he was calling from the Marines, he hung up on him.
Oh, did you think he was joking?
Well, we'd had a lot of crazy calls.
I bet. Okay.
So anyway, they said, we've located your father's remains from the Philippines. And it was like, wow.
What a shock.
Yeah, because I'd never really thought about it all those years, and I was very angry with the Marines and about war in general, and did not have good feelings about it. Anyway, apparently a brother of my father had given DNA back in the 80s with the thought that maybe if they found any remains.
So smart of him.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. So wait, so you hung up on him, and then did he call right back?
Yes.
Actually, his manager called back, which was a lady that was from Birmingham, Alabama, and you can tell by my accent that I speak Southern. So she had the sweetest Southern voice, and she convinced me that this was for real.
Okay.
Then I passed the phone over to Jenny.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when did you start recording everything that was going on? So what are we seeing in the movie?
Well, actually, that was at his interment in Arlington. The remains of most of the Marines were taken from Betio Island and kept in storage in Honolulu. And then they began the DNA testing in the 80s and started identifying people. When we finally got the date, because we had to cancel because of COVID 3 times, we went to Arlington, and the first thing was the plane coming in from Honolulu with my father's remains in the coffin.
Yeah.
And there were hundreds of people there. Retired military, people that are really interested in identifying these remains. It's quite a program going on in Honolulu. And when the plane landed, the fire department created arches of water over the plane, and it was just incredible. And one of the retired Marines walked me up to the actual plane, to the coffin, where I could have a few moments alone. And then all these people were there, the FBI, hundreds of people, and we were just amazed at the turnout. And they were all hugging everybody in my family, and it was a very poignant moment, more so to me than the actual interment the next day.
Wow.
So,
well, we're looking at some of the video right now, and it does look extremely impressive. Absolutely. Oh, and here is, wow. It is an amazing process, and even though you didn't know your father, you still felt a connection.
oh, of course, yeah. And yet I'd never thought about him all those years.
Right, right.
Oh yeah, my family
There
walking
they are.
up, yeah.
Aw. And it's just so nice, even though you didn't get to know him, at least you had this part of him, right?
Yeah.
And this show is about 50 minutes, and it pretty much goes from, it shows a little bit of the history, and then it goes into, your experiences, and then here we're showing some of the services. The pomp and military service was something you see in a movie, and one of the gentlemen from Arlington was talking to my daughter, and he said they had not had a service with this much elegance and dignity since Colin Powell was interred. Wow.
In Arlington.
Wow.
And this being, I think, one of the first coming back from the remains being identified and coming in from Honolulu. I think they really, really went all out with the gun salute. And yeah, it was just like you see in a movie, but and it was surreal because I was taking part in it and, with my husband and my family. And they're the ones that actually persuaded me to do this. I did not want to do it. And they felt that a hero needs to be given a hero's farewell.
That's awesome, and I'm really glad that you documented it too, because obviously this means a lot to many people, and many who still have never found remains. So there is hope for other people, and I think that this gives that some hope.
And I think that will give these families that lost these young men closure.
Exactly.
And they were all heroes.
Exactly. Now, Bernie, I know we were talking a little bit off camera that this wasn't necessarily something that you had produced, but Bernie did. And I heard you got in trouble for that.
Well, you know, sometimes the backstory is more interesting than the front story. The front story is obviously well documented by the videos that were taken in Arlington. But as I got into it, I decided I wanted to put something together for the family, but it got more so into other things after I started involved. After realizing there were hundreds of people involved in making this happen, I thought they deserved as much recognition as anyone. So the video, the backstory is a lot about those people. It's also another backstory that's not in the video is how we met. Jenny's father, his name was Thomas Harley Cooper. Everybody called him Harley. Well, Harley was involved in a way how we met. Harley grew up in Chattanooga, Tennessee, where I grew up. He was killed in 1943. I was born in 1943. And he went across halfway around the world to New Zealand to find his bride, and his daughter went halfway around the world to find me in Chattanooga.
Wow.
So, and the other interesting thing that we did at Arlington, which was not in the video, is we both went to visit Robert Kennedy's gravesite.
John F. K.
Yes.
And that was John Kennedy. That was the day that we met when he was assassinated. So that day was important to us. But that day was actually 20 years to the day that the Tarawa battle occurred.
Wow.
So
well,
there's a lot of
sounds like meant to be. Sounds like all of this was just meant to be, huh? Right. Well, I appreciate you guys sharing all this information, and our viewers can see this right here on Village Television, and they can view it on Sundays at 7 p.m. starting in May, and then I'm also assuming it'll be on our YouTube channel, so if people miss it, they can always go to our YouTube channel and view it there.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I love this story, and I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
That's awesome. And you did a good job.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. And of course, if you want to see the show, you can see it on Sundays at 7 p.m. right here on Village Television for the month of May. We'll be right back.
Before the next earthquake, take 30 seconds to refresh your memory about these important disaster preparedness tips. Make a family emergency plan. Decide how you'll get in touch with each other, where you'll go, and what you'll do in an emergency. Build a disaster supply kit with enough water, food, and emergency supplies to last at least 3 days. It's important to have disaster supply kits for work, cars, and pets too. Find and fix items in your home that might hurt someone by moving, breaking, or falling during an earthquake. Know how to react safely when the ground shakes. If you're inside, stay there. Remember to drop, cover, and hold on. Drop down onto your hands and knees and cover your head and neck with your arms to protect yourself from falling objects. If you can move safely, crawl under a sturdy desk or table and hold on to one of the legs until the shaking stops. After an earthquake, help people who are hurt or trapped. Call 911 for emergencies only. Check your home for damage, including gas or water leaks, damaged wiring, or downed power lines. Protect your family and your home by making a plan, building a kit, and practicing disaster drills at least twice a year. Be sure to visit readyoc.org for more information on emergency preparedness and alertoc.com to sign up for emergency alerts and notifications. We want you to be prepared for a disaster just as much as you do.
Welcome back. Well, we have Chief Brian Fennessy, who is here on behalf of the Orange County Fire Authority. Well, how are you?
I'm great, Lisa. It's great to be back.
Well, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. I know you have a very busy schedule, but maybe we've caught you sort of in between fires, which, you know, I know is really prevalent and not just a fire season now.
No, you're exactly right. You know, we've been talking about for a number of years, and now we're really considering it a fire year. So certainly we have, you know, our traditional or historical fire season, but as we've seen locally, even this year, we get fires in February, in March, and you know, we're in a very different environment than we've ever been.
Well, it's very dry, and unfortunately we're not getting the rains like we used to, and so there is definitely a shift in our in our patterns. So I can imagine that that is contributing to a lot of the fires, even if we didn't have a hot day.
No, you're absolutely right. You know, after years of drought, much of the vegetation here in Southern California, you know, has died. And you know, we live in a desert, and the vegetation, the native vegetation, is used to going 2 or 3 years of low periods of precipitation, but after multiple years, the vegetation dries, and that dead brush sits on the sides of those hills, and it doesn't go away.
Yeah.
We get a little rain, everything looks green, but within that green, you've got to remember there's a heavy dead fuel or vegetation component.
Right, right. Now, I understand that the fire authority, along with the government, there are programs that are in place where you clean out that dead brush, right?
There are. We receive grants, and a number of the cities get grants, and we call it Vegetation Management, where there's you know, vegetation removal. We certainly take care of a lot of that along the roadsides. Roadside fires are really the biggest threat here in Orange County.
Right.
There's a lot of money going towards fuel mitigation, both on the federal side and on the state side. So we encourage cities and agencies, HOAs, others, to really look at what might be out there that could pay for, you know, that removal.
Well, right. Okay, good. Now, in regards to that, of course, we have a variety of HOAs. We have a few here, and I know that different parts, some do back to an area where there could be concern, but I would imagine we've addressed that.
We do, and our, you know, our fire prevention, you know, bureau is really diligent in letting, you know, HOAs, homeowners know when there's a threat.
Okay.
And we don't automatically go out and find people, but we do remind them. And over a period of time, if it's not taken care of, we will take a stronger stand. And we're really doing that for, again, the homeowners.
Okay.
As we've seen on the Emerald Fire in Emerald Bay in February, and then the year before, the fires that encroached upon Irvine and Lake Forest.
Yeah.
We didn't lose any structures. And while our firefighters did an amazing job, really credit goes out to those homeowners, the developers who built those units, you know, under code.
Yeah.
And in the past, it wouldn't have been unlikely to have lost perhaps hundreds of homes, but the community deserves a shout out. They've listened to the message, and we're showing here in Orange County that it does work.
Oh, that's good. That's good, because you certainly don't want to lose your home. I had visited someone that was up in the Anaheim Hills fire, and she had a very large picture of the firemen walking away from her home, burning to the ground. And it's scary, really scary. So I'm glad you are, you know, that you've told the community that they're doing a good job. So excellent. All right, let's talk a little bit about air operations, because obviously, you know, there are places you can't get to, and you need that air support.
We do. We really recognize aircraft as a force multiplier. And the whole key, you know, keeping fires small is a rapid, what we call initial attack. You know, very quickly, quick detection, quick response, pour everything you can on it to keep it small, because once it gets beyond what we initially send to suppress that fire, it becomes far more challenging. And so, aircraft are a big part of that. On any report of a vegetation fire here in the county, we're automatically getting 2 air tankers, the fixed wing airplanes that drop the pink retardant out of Hemet, out of Riverside.
Okay.
And we respond 3 helicopters from OCFA, along with all the ground units. So the idea is just to get on top of it, knock it down, and let the ground units take care of putting it completely out.
Excellent. That's good that you have that as well. Okay, so within your group, your staff, when you hire people, there's a variety of programs that you now have in place to kind of accompany. People have been a little concerned about some diversity issues and things like that, but you have some programs in place.
We do, and diversity has been something that's been very important to me. I grew up with it. I grew up in the Pasadena area, and in the 70s, the Pasadena City Schools were a part of the early integration projects, and so I grew up in a very diverse community, both at school and in my neighborhoods, and quite frankly, we could do better here in Orange County, the Orange County Fire Authority, and I made it clear from day one when I got here that was going to be part of my vision and where we were going. And since that time, we have improved in the number of the underrepresented women firefighters, and we've hired a full-time diversity and inclusion coordinator. We're doing surveys. In fact, we've got a girls' camp. Young girls from 14 to, I believe it's 14 to 18 can participate. You go to our website, you can sign up, and we spend 2 days teaching young women and showing them what we do. The whole idea is to introduce them to it, and so that they understand this is something they can do.
Right.
And so we're driven to improve our numbers and to be more inclusive, and I'm excited about it.
I think that's a great idea, especially at that age level, because you're getting them at the high school level, and that's when they're starting to decide, okay, do I want to go to college? Do I want to do something else? And when I do go to college, what am I going to do?
Right.
And so it kind of lays that groundwork for them.
I agree. We have in the past focused on athletic programs at the college level, but have found that most the young women that are already there already have aspirations for what they want to do.
Yeah.
And when you talk with young women, they don't automatically think that the fire service is something they can do. Little boys grow up playing with fire trucks, and they envision maybe doing. Young women don't. So we need to introduce that to them at a very young age. That this is something that you can do if you'd like to. We have many women on this job looking for more, and we're going to get there.
Great, great. Well, if they want to know more about that, of course, they can always go to your website and they can learn some of the parameters and requirements and things like that, because I'm sure there are still quite a few for everybody. You still have to have certain things. So, all right, good. And then let's touch base a little bit on your emergency command center. So, obviously there's a lot of people that takes. And we've talked to a couple of dispatchers here. But every week you kind of do something different. Tell me about that.
We do. We celebrate a variety of divisions and shifts and whatnot. And most recently we've had what we used to call Dispatcher Week. Now it's called Telecommunicator Week, where we celebrate and show our appreciation for our emergency command center staff. That's really the nerve center. When you call 911 and you get pushed over to us, they receive hundreds of thousands of calls. We respond to 160-some thousand.
Yeah.
And their job is tough. They may be picking up the phone and instructing, an hysterical family member, instructing them how to do CPR. They may be, asking people to leave the residence, and then they're on to the next call.
Yeah.
And so it's a very difficult and very challenging job.
Right.
Takes a special person. Our attrition rate is about 50% through training because it is that difficult.
Yeah.
So they deserve the shout out. I have so much pride and appreciation for our dispatch staff.
That is excellent, excellent. Now, real quick, I wanted to congratulate you because you received an award, the Man of the Year at the Cypress College Foundation's 47th Annual Americana Award.
Yeah.
Wow.
I had to kiddingly ask, did they just run out of people to? But when you look at the past decades of who's received that award, it's pretty humbling. And what I did at the ceremonies, I really wanted to show our appreciation for all the firefighters in this county,
Yeah.
The Orange County Healthcare Agency for the vaccination efforts. I mean, it was a very difficult time, and the fire service was asked by the county to carry on the vaccination effort. And I'll never forget the call I got where I was asked to help with vaccinating 3 million county residents.
Yep.
That's a pretty unusual request, and not
Absolutely.
something that any fire department or any fire chief has been asked to do before.
Right.
And it was very successful, and we're very proud of it.
Orange County did a great job as a whole. We got those centers up real quick at SoCA, and we even had our own thing here for all of our residents. So congratulations. I think
agree.
that's awesome.
I think Orange County shone very, very brightly over that period of time.
Great. Well, thank you for your leadership.
Thanks, Lisa.
All right. If you want more information about the programs that we have discussed, you can always go to ocfa.org. We'll be right back.
Hi folks, this is Dan O'Weiler with Sterling Financial Advisors. We've been around for a long time, been on ThisDay with Lisa, and just wanted you to know that we're still in business, even through the pandemic. We still have the opportunity to now meet with people individually, in person, and we'd like to invite you to give us a call if it would make some sense. If you're doing some planning for retirement, please give us a call. We'll be happy to meet with you. Thanks so much.
There is an Earth Day celebration that you can participate today at 1 o'clock, and that is by the Concerned Citizens of Laguna Woods. They are putting this on, and you can enjoy it during this today at 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. in Clubhouse 1. Now, there's no need to RSVP. You can just show up at Clubhouse 1 and enjoy some great information and also some speakers. Also, Wellness Expo is this weekend on Saturday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., and that is in Clubhouse 5. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at our weather. Burning off the clouds and sunshiny day, and we are looking at partly cloudy skies, 66-55 today, tomorrow 66-55, and then Saturday 64-50, and Sunday 74-55, and Monday 85-63. And you have a great day in the village. You can rewatch our program at 12:30 and 5. And we'll see you again tomorrow right here on Village Television at 9 a.m. Bye-bye.